Cody. So the Lakers, well, now they're 14-5. We actually just lost to the Sixers like maybe an hour ago. Maybe not even that. Maybe like 30 minutes ago. But we are 10-1 on the road, and I don't know what to make of this. Like 10, and we're 4-4 at home, which means we're not great at home. I mean, you could say maybe it's because of the teams that were playing at home at that time, or maybe because there's no fans in the stands. Whatever it is, the Lakers are so much better on the road. I almost prefer them to play on the road. I felt really good about them playing the Sixers today. We had a few issues in today's game, and I'm not going to go in depth with it, but we only lost by 1, so it's not like we died.
By the way, we came back from being down by 14 with less than 3 minutes to go in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
And we only lost by 1. So
yeah, and Joel Embiid was having a really good, especially a first quarter. I was watching the first quarter with my daughter, and he was killing. I mean, we had no answer for him in the first quarter, but we've done really well on the road. Cody, what do you make of our road wins? I mean, the last 4 games we've had on the road, it was Milwaukee, Chicago, Cleveland, Philadelphia. Obviously, the only game we lost was Philadelphia. So I mean, what do you think? Why are the Lakers so successful on the road versus at home?
I'm not sure what the correlation is to why at home we don't do better than on the road. I'm just going to read off a few different stats, but from what I was reading and doing some research, it looks like that our defense just steps up on the road. There's something about it where we just come to play. And the example I have is like LeBron on the road. He averages about 27 points on the road, nearly 9 rebounds, and about 7 assists. And AD goes about 23 points, 8.5 rebounds, 3 assists, 2.2 blocks, right? However, at home, LeBron goes only 23 points, so that's a 3-point difference, and AD only goes 19 points, so that's a 4-point difference. And then also, too, like, when it comes to as a team, we average 2+ steals more on the road than at home. And we have about a block difference between road and home in favor of the road. And we rebound about 3 rebounds better per game on the road. That's just, from what I'm seeing, it just looks like we come to play. Like, we are ready to go on the road. We're more of a road team. I will say, though, to kind of discount that a little bit, is the Lakers, they have played Houston, Grizzlies, and the Spurs each 2 times already. Normally, back-to-back road games is basically what's been played. We've obviously beaten those 3 teams each twice, so that's 6 wins right there. And, they're the bottom of the Western Conference. So we're not going to act like they're beating elite teams right now. However, they did beat the Bucks. And they did beat the Cavs, which I think the Cavs are a little underrated in the East, but that doesn't mean that they're going to make the playoffs or anything. Just like, they're a competitive team. Other than Philadelphia's loss, which is really the only major loss that we've had to like a top contender, I'm not really too worried about that. I mean, one of the things I'll point out is Montrezl Harrell didn't score very much. KCP didn't score very much. And those 2 are usually putting out a lot of offense. So I won't really, bother anybody with that. But I will say it looks like our defense, steps up. I mean, we are 7th in points per game, and we're 2nd in points allowed per game. So we're a defensive team, and I think on the road we just turn it up. There's just that's just the only way to explain it. And I think AD and LeBron, they thrive on the road. They thrive against teams that are rooting against them, and I think that's what they're using for motivation to get them through this season. At least what it tells me on the road.
Yeah. I don't know if I think that I'm going to throw, I guess, a conspiracy theory in a sense. I feel like them being on the road, they have to be more focused There's not a lot of distractions like, oh, okay, I get to go home, I get to relax. When they're on the road, they got to be in the hotel room, they got to be, um, they got to be at the gym at a certain time. They're focused on that. And then when they're home, I feel like maybe they're a little more focused at home because right now kids are in school, which a lot of these players have kids at home. We can say, well, they probably have people that do stuff for them. Okay, but I'm assuming that they don't. And I do feel like there is a little bit of a distraction. Now, am I saying it's a bad distraction? No, I understand it. But I do also feel like the Lakers didn't come out and just start like, oh, we're gonna go, 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 go. Like last year, it just felt like they wanted to prove that, hey, we have great chemistry and it just clicked.
Yeah.
I feel like this year they're like, okay, we have the chemistry. All we're gonna do is we're just gonna try and coast a little bit, try and relax, and then when we need to make that push, we'll make that push. So that's kind of the thought that I have of what's going on. You're right. I mean, it feels like the defense is better on the road. I mean, the games that we've had on the road, I mean, we've been in San Antonio, and like you said, San Antonio is not the greatest. Memphis, again, same issue. Houston, Oklahoma City is okay, but then we beat Milwaukee. That was a good win. I felt like that was LeBron. Early in the game, Giannis was kind of going at LeBron, and I feel like LeBron was like, okay, all right, here we go then. Then I'm going to prove to you that you're still not better than me. And I feel like that was kind of that game. The Chicago win, Chicago was not hitting their shots. So we actually didn't look that great, but I felt like we were just still like, like later in the game, they're like, okay, let's just win this game. Cleveland, LeBron obviously had a motivation in him that he wanted to prove that he wanted to win. And I felt like today's game, they tried, and it just didn't go well. Because, they do want to prove that they're the best team in the West. And there's certain games that they're going to turn on, certain games that they're going to turn off. Tomorrow, they have a game against the Detroit Pistons. I almost said Lions. And you're probably not going to see them go just fast paced right away. I think you're going to see them slow, methodical. There was a lot of times, especially in the first quarter in today's game against the Sixers, where it was a lot of isolation play where they were just throwing the ball to Anthony Davis, let Anthony Davis run the offense. He's going to drive inside, and then if they double team, he passes it out. If they don't, he just shoots it. And that's kind of what it was like in the first quarter. So I feel like they're not trying to show all of their hand. I feel like they're giving it their all to certain teams, and to other teams they're kind of trying to feel them out, trying to see what they're going to do and how to beat them later on. So that's kind of the feeling that I get. I think on the road you get more focused, and I think that's why and to be honest, they're really not playing that great of teams.
Right.
On the road. And like I say, with the Milwaukee and Cleveland, there was a little bit of motivation for some of the players, and I think that's why you saw the result. They're playing Boston on Saturday, January 30th, and that's going to be in TD Garden. I feel like the Lakers they're going to ball out. I feel like they're going to look how they should look. So, that's just kind of my thought. How much do I believe it? I don't know. It's just kind of a conspiracy theory at this point. But I do feel like there's been a lot more isolation ball with Anthony Davis or with LeBron James.
Yeah.
They're just kind of like, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, we'll move on to the next game.
I think the last leg of the season, because I know that the second half of the season schedules hasn't been finalized yet because they want to see, obviously, the COVID protocols and all that stuff. Yeah. So I think when we get to like the last third, like the last, I'd say 20-ish games of the regular season, or last 15, I'll say, is I think that's when we'll start seeing them turn up the heat a little bit to build the momentum. Because actually, LeBron this season is averaging a career low in minutes, which is good because we
Yeah.
want to preserve him. We had the shortest off season between, seasons. And so, we're doing very well considering that we just won a championship, what is it, 6 months ago? Less than that, actually. And
Yeah.
so, the turnaround is a lot shorter, but also too, like, getting the guys kind of in rotation, like Montrezl Harrell is a big part of it. KCP is a very good scorer. Making sure Kuzma's still in, kind of rotation. AD and LeBron, I feel like that. I don't want to say they're off to a slow start, but I feel like that they were in a hotter start earlier last season. But I
Mm-hmm.
feel like, again, towards the end of the season, they'll turn it on. Like, they have that chemistry that
Yeah.
you can just flip a switch. And right now, they're kind of reminding me of the Warriors when the Warriors went to like 4 straight finals where they just got like bored and disinterested in games. And then it wasn't until like they absolutely had to, they turned it on.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, they microwaved like 50 points and a half, and I think the Lakers are in that same realm. I just think that they'll start turning it on more so towards like the last third of the season, at least from what I would guess, with all the conserving of the minutes for like AD, LeBron, and all that stuff. So that's what I'll say on that.
Yeah, I think you're right about because we had the shortest off season. I think that's what you're seeing with LeBron and Anthony Davis, why they kind of look a little bit slower starting. And also, they're probably just trying to rest as much as they can, but they don't want to rest on games. They do want to play. So
Right.
I think you're right on that. So.